Hi guys, I'm really excited and just really flattered actually to be invited to this because Southern California poetry readings were my jam when I was 20, which was a little while ago. And you know, they were my jam because like I really needed to feel like I was connected to something or someone or a group of people. And the LA poetry scene and by extension, I'm also talking about Orange County and the Ugly Mug, was just so, you know, it was my home for a really long time. So I have a lot of nostalgia about this, and I'm really honored to be here with you. And when I was just yesterday, as we know, Ferlinghetti passed away at a very good age of 100, was he 101, something like that. And I came across this quote, and it was, the printing press has made poetry too silent. I want it to be heard to have the direct impact of speech. And he said that in 1958. And so that's what I've been thinking about for this reading. I'm really grateful to be listening to all of you and to be actually hearing your voices, because poetry, when it ends up in academic circles, just sort of, I feel like ends up on the page a lot. So this poem is called Vagabond, and I'll just begin. In God's parking lot, I watch a crow perched in the highest bones of winter's tree, its nest disguised there, branches nestled inside branches, not a leaf in sight. He makes small movements with his head as he turns to watch, I think, one for sorrow. But I know if one is alone, there's another close by. I spot the second strutting along wet shingles. It's raining in God's parking lot all Sunday afternoon with its empty nail salon and donut shop, and the laundromat filled to the gills with poor faces folding themselves down on formica tables. All season, we waited for rain, and now it won't stop, so that everything is soaked on the inside, sprouting quietly, a furtive thing inside a dark place like quickening. Now he thrusts his black body to the rain-soaked ground and looks up at his mate. There's no hiding in those naked branches, I think, two for joy, and it's what I want, only like the tree, I'm deciduous, like leaves or horns or teeth. I can't help but shed my skin each time, just like the crows perched in the branches of their home, thinking I might fly. Okay. This is a poem called Our Mouths Full of Stars, and it begins with a quote by Natalie Diaz. I went through a period of reading a lot of her work, and she writes the most illicit love poems. They're so sort of visceral. And this is after that. Our mouths full of stars. Am I what I love? Is this the glittering world I've been begging for? Natalie Diaz. Manhattan is a Lenape word. Thinking as I do of her body, the way in the moments before you cleave it open, the pages of a closed book feel to the touch, both hard and soft, but also ready. I want to be near her. In my mind, she is crouched by the library bookshelf, holding out poems for me the way children hold the sun in their hair. And in the photograph, I am holding a drink between my legs, and she has caught her own expression reflected in mine. We are both of us diffused, propelled by the ferry's stark passage, beneath bridges of light which leave me in flux because I need the water in the same way she does. The two of us conspicuously earthbound. In the grain of my face, you'll see that I'm thinking, is she what she loves? In the sway of her mouth, you can tell she is wondering if I am the glittering world she's been begging for. Imposter, I come to her on a dark moon. I come in through the back door, bury myself in the pages of her words, disguised there as something other, a metaphor, an antonym, an alternate universe, and she leaves me quiet as a distant galaxy. I realize then it's impossible to calculate a star's luminosity unless you know how far away it is. I smooth out my face as if it were an apron and my expression were a lap, as if I were not the one who startled the night from its deep, belonging now to her in this state of endless wakefulness. I pretend for as long as she is mine that I did not steal the lemons or make friends with the cat or dream in her bed, my body glowering in the low light beneath an infinite canopy, with all the stars in her mouth yielding to mine. For that moment, only to me. For now, I will look at her and say, I would not turn the milk sour, knowing full well what it is that I mean, trying not to speak in absolutes or conditional clauses. Instead, I whisper and whisper her name as a spell, saying, I am here. I'm here with you now. Be here too. And thank you. And this is, actually, it's a poem about the same person, so, which is kind of funny. It's called Nuda Veritas. Nuda Veritas, which is the name of a painting by Gustav Klimt. And it begins with a quote from him: "Truth is fire, speak truthfully and burn with light." Saturday, almost pre-Raphaelite in his predilection for girls combing out their long red hair, or like Klimt's obsession with women in gold, you're almost coerced by the wisdom of your past telling you, speak truthfully and burn with light. And as you cross the water with the sun in your eyes, you start to think you might, as if this edict weren't an obvious ploy, as if you weren't already burning, flames consuming you from the inside out, and truth wedged in your throat like the finch who cannot sing. You can't help but want Saturday with her dark alleys and glittering nights. She moves towards you, all salt and sway in the low light. You know she'll almost give you all the things you want. And she comes at you from the back corner of a bar like a quick shot with a twist, just a little bit hard and fast. She's ready to offer you all the stars you can see in her sky, even as you begin to understand they've almost disappeared. And later, when the money's gone and someone's called last call, you'll notice that her one foot was already always out the door. Despite yourself, you keep trying to lay down with Saturday. Even Friday knows you can coax her into a slow burn, but Saturday's too busy to let you love her. When it comes right down to it, she's only in it for herself. You're almost certain you'll find her again next week, exactly as you left her. All full moon and Venus, all blues piano and bass, all cigarettes and disco balls, diamond combs in her hair, which she'll invariably pluck out and offer you with all that forged sincerity. But next week, Saturday's brand new again. When you find her, she's placing her bets at a different table on someone else's watch and someone's borrowed time. Watch her turn her head towards you and nod. Watch the spark and smolder of her smile as she pats the stool for you to come sit down and carries on because she knows you'll wait. After all, it's Saturday and you've got nothing if not time. Okay, last one. This is called translocation, what it comes down to. 1. Over drinks in a San Francisco, let's start again. 1. Over drinks in a San Francisco bar, she looks at you, her eyes hard blue. One day she says, you'll leave me. It's possible you're too old to be cavorting all day. In bars and bookstores, your 20-year-old self had imagined by now you'd own a house, the kind that is clean and poured with light. Children streaming in and out. You've begun to understand that you don't want that exactly. 2. You go shopping for sex toys in the Castro. You want to hold her hand and kiss her in public, forgetting something as simple as a kiss could be locked and loaded. You've begun to understand you are now a target. She is wary in airports. She pulls away without warning. They would kill me first and then rape you, she says. In your bones, you know this is true. You've begun to understand this is not the same as kissing a husband. 3. In the night, she wakes you, her cough the hoarse hack of a smoker. You know then she's sick, her body burning beside you, sweat pearls on her forehead. The fierceness of love is your bottom line. You have cradled her body with yours, clutching her muscles, her bones opening to you. Ilium, ischium, pubis. You have fingered the hollow of her clavicle, traced the blades of her scapula, parted her tendons. You have licked her wounds. Even the cat, who has slept between you all night, climbs aboard her chest to peer at her face. 4. In the morning, you bring her tea. You forage for your clothes. I'm sorry, she says. I know it all comes down to sex, and this is a joke because you've told her you're only there to fuck. I love your body, she tells you. I love that bra. She studies the way you lift your breasts into its black lace. She watches you snap yourself back into place. She says, I want to show your body how in love with it I am. You hand her the full weight of your right breast. For next time, you say. 5. It comes down to the details. The way she slices an onion with her fingertips, clenched as she cuts, the way her hair falls across one eye, a mess of curls, how she leans back in the tub, her eyes closing to the sound of your voice reading poetry, her body incandescent in the watery half-light, how the cat folds his paws beneath him too and listens. You realize it's these small moments that are saving you. 6. At the door, she sucks on her cigarette. You read the pause in her exhale. I've realized, she says, why I'm angry. You nod because you understand the unattended child learns to rock herself to sleep watching ghosts from her bed. She learns to tamp down her fear of breaking. Now you're leaving her again to turn to your own children who clamor at your gate. Dislocated by loss, their home is your body. Body of love, body of sex, body of grief, body of giving birth to their bodies. You offer yourself up and in turn, they are yours. You've begun to understand that you have offered yourself to her in all these ways without knowing if it is enough. 7. At home, the sun grows with the day. A slow burn sloughs off the morning. 2 hummingbirds buzz, their wings an illusion. Next, 2 cranes drift bone white across the lake. It would be easy to say that this is what it comes down to. 8. Unmoored by hunger and unbound, you've begun to understand permanence as a shift inside you. The blue-black shock of understanding, the fierce beating of wings, the crow of want. This dark bruise requires the will to turn, to know freedom in transience, and how to cleave to person instead of place. It comes down to the dim light from your open mouth, wound or exit, a culmination of longing, trying to launch itself from your shadow, trying to fly its way out. Thank you.